What's up YouTube? How are you doing today? Techno D or Techno Dad here, and in today's video we're going to start off the series on how to choose a subwoofer, and today's topic is going to be room considerations. And we're going to get into it right after the jump. And I'm back. Now, if you're new to the channel and you want to learn about 4K, home theater, and audio products, and how to set them up properly, you should consider subscribing because I'm here to help. And don't forget to hit that bell so you get notified when I do a live stream and answer your questions, or when the next video gets released. Well, now that housekeeping is out of the way, let's get into it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so I've been thinking about this topic for a long time and trying to figure out how to best present the information to you guys. And I figured a video series would be better than one long, like really long video. Okay, so first things first, when we're talking about setting up a home theater, and even if this is in your living room or a dedicated room, this still is one of the biggest factors, and it's the size of your room. Okay, so room consideration is a huge factor in your subwoofer purchase, and of course placement. And if you decide to go dual, you're definitely going to want to figure out how much bass do you need for your space. So over the years I've come up with some guidelines on what size subwoofer should go into a certain size room. Now, you know, the whole goal is to get that like chest thumping, you know, earth shattering bass that we want on those big impact scenes. You know, when there's like, you know, the big dinosaur's foot hits the ground, or you got a huge explosion and just shakes the crap out of everything. That's what we want, okay? Now, when we're thinking about the room size, we're not just thinking about length and width. We also have to get the height measurement in there. Because what are we trying to figure out? We need to figure out what the volume is in that room, right? Once we know how much air is in that room, then I can properly recommend a subwoofer. I get questions all the time like, hey, my room is 10 by 12. You know, what kind of subwoofer should I put in there? I'm like, I have no clue, right? Because we don't have a cubic measurement. We don't have the volume, all right? And how do we measure volume? You guys know this. This is like basic math, right? Length times width times height, okay? So that's how we get the volume, and it's gonna be in cubic feet. Now, before I jump into the guideline, I just wanna give you guys this disclaimer. This is just a guideline. If you wanna put more subwoofers in, or turn it up, or a bigger subwoofer in a smaller space, more power to you. Go for it. This is just kind of a guideline to help you choose and narrow down the subwoofer that you're trying to buy for your home theater room or your living room or whatever room, garage, man cave, whatever you're putting it in, okay? So just saying that, just putting that out there. So here we go. If you have a space that's 1,500 cubic feet or less, I would go with a 10-inch subwoofer, okay? Then from 1,500 cubic feet to 3,000 cubic feet, I would go with a 12-inch subwoofer. Of course, if you're getting on the higher end of that spectrum, maybe you want something with a lot more wattage, you know, maybe something 500 to 700 watts, you know, instead of like 300, or maybe go dual 12s in that 3,000 cubic foot situation. Now, if you have more than 3,000 cubic feet, I would recommend putting in as much money as you can into a subwoofer, okay? Because the idea is we're not gonna get that impact if we have a huge open area. Now, I know these numbers are hard to picture, and you guys know that I love making slides, so let's check out some slides and put some dimensions to these numbers so you guys can get an idea of what we're talking about size-wise, okay? All right, so in this first slide, we've got two pictures here. One's a cube, which is 10 by 10 by 10. And guess what? That's 1,000 cubic feet. So if you've got a room that's smaller than that, yeah, you probably only need a 10-inch subwoofer, right? Now, if we move up to a room that's 12 by 8 by 10, we're under, you know, that 1,000 mark. So we're still going to be able to use a 10-inch subwoofer in that situation. Moving on to the next slide, now we have a room that's 15 by 12 by 8, and that's going to be around 1,400 cubic feet. Now here's, you know, you're at the like 1,500 mark almost, so you can go with the 10, or you can go with the 12, or maybe you can go with dual 10s. It all depends on, you know, your room configuration and where you're going to put these guys. Now on the bottom picture, we have 15 by 12 by 10, which is 1800 cubic feet. You're definitely going to want to put in a 12-inch subwoofer here, for sure. Now before we get into the larger rooms, since I do have a larger room, I didn't want to just use arbitrary numbers. I wanted to measure my room so I can help myself out and at the same time display all this information for you guys. And I wouldn't be Techno Dad if I just measured it with your average everyday tape measure. I went and bought something that's probably twice if not 3 times the cost of a regular tape measure. And this is a laser tape measure. It was around $35 on Amazon. It's really cool. There's a button on here that when you press it, it'll actually start measuring from the top where the laser is, you know, or if you press it, it'll start the measurement from the bottom of the little measuring device. So what does that mean? That means you can just butt this up against a wall and press the measure button and get your wall reading, including this, so you don't have to like do some weirdness, you know? And like I did with the floor to ceiling in the vaulted area of my living room, just put this on the ground, hit the measure button, make sure the laser is on the part of the ceiling that it's supposed to be, and it takes a nice clean reading. So I used this guy to get these measurements of my living room. 23 by 16 by 8. And that puts us at 2,944 cubic feet. So we're pretty much at that 3,000 cubic foot level. So I could go with a 12 or dual 12s, or maybe push it up to a 15. But here's the thing now, I'm not taking into account the vault. I'm just talking about the rectangular prism. Those are the dimensions. So on the vaulted side or the high side of my ceiling, it's 14 feet. The low end of my ceiling is 8 feet. So that's a difference of 6 feet. So now we have to multiply 6 times 23 times 16 and then divide that by 2 to get the volume of the vaulted portion of my living room, which is 1,104 cubic feet. All right, so now that we've got the volume of the lofted area, we need to add that to the volume of the regular area. So 2944 plus 1104, and we get 4,048 cubic feet. All right, so there you have it. Now that we have properly measured the room and taken into consideration the volume of the vault, the volume of the rectangular prism that is, you know, the regular room shape, we still have yet to take into the account the stairwell that goes downstairs. There's all that airspace there, and the fact that it opens up to the kitchen. Like my living room, dining room, kitchen, it's all kind of open. So I have not taken into account that extra space. But I already know from the main room and the vault, it's already over 4,000 cubic feet. So that means I could do like 2 15s or 2 16s or whatever, something big to get that big impact that we want for our theater experience. So there you go, guys. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up for this video. This is the first video in a series. We're going to be talking about ported versus sealed. We're going to be talking about single versus dual. We're going to be talking about all that stuff. But this first one was just about room considerations. What size subwoofer do you need for your room? I hope you guys liked the video. If you have any questions, don't forget to hit me up down in the comments or shoot me an email. Hit me up on all the favorite social media you like to use. If you like this video, go ahead, smash that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel using that button in the middle of your screen. Once again, my name is Chana D. I'm your Techno Dad. I'll see you next time.